Okay, boss. So there has been a lot of confusion, like what to be called as. Like, so do you call it as BW or do you call it as BI? Right? Some people call it as BIW. There's a lot of confusion around this. So now we are supposed to call it as BW. No more BI. See, actually, what happened is we had different versions. Like when BW came in, we had something like 2.0B version. Then later we moved on to BW 3.5. Then we had something called 7 versions. So till BW 3.5 version, we were calling it as BW. Once 7 was introduced, we started calling it as BI. Then once SAP took over something called SAP Business Objects, they started calling Business Objects as BI. So there are two components with the same naming. Like BW was called as BI and Business Objects also was called as BI solution. So then from BW 7.3, they started calling it back as BW. So we are supposed to call it as BW, Business Warehouse. So business warehouse, it's like when I say warehouse, it's like a store of all the business data in it. That's it. Okay, boss? Okay. So in throughout this course, whatever we deal with, we always deal with this. Why, what, how, enduku, emti, ela. That's what I focus on always here. Okay, now what is BW, boss? Now before we get in, see, SAP is actually company, SAP AG, it's a German company, and they came out with a lot of products. Okay, they got their own proprietary language as ABAP. ABAP is their own proprietary language. So what happens? They have developed their own language called ABAP, and using this ABAP, they have developed all their SAP products. Okay, so when you look at SAP products, you hear about SAP Business Suite. SAP Business Suite. So if you say SAP ECC, you heard about something like SAP ECC, or they call it as R3. Yeah, you'll have something like CRM. Yeah, APO. Yeah, HCM. There are lot of applications like this. Yeah. So all this we call them as SAP Business Suite. CRM, APO, HCM. All these are called as Business Suite. So see, these applications, SAP Business Suite, mainly these applications mainly focus on transaction processing. So when I say transaction processing, now if you look at this SAP ECC, it is an application which actually focus on processing all the transactions of the business. Now if you look at an enterprise, do they have sales department? Will they have HR department? Will they have finance department? So in sales department, they process all the sales transactions. In purchasing department, they process all the purchasing transactions, right? So SAP ECC will have different applications in it, like SD, MM, PP, FICO, quality management, notifications, industry specific solutions also will have. Yeah? So what happens? Your customer will buy this application, SAP ECC, and customize the ECC as per their business requirements. So they'll customize it, application so that they can start processing their sales order or deliveries or billing, purchase orders, purchase requisitions, invoicing, general ledger posting, quality management, notifications, plant maintenance. All these transactions are processed into your ECC. That is what the main focus is. But SAP BW is not a module within ECC. It's a separate application altogether. Okay, was fine. And then they have another application called CRM, which actually focuses on CRM, retaining the existing customer. ఒకసారి కస్టమర్ వచ్చి కొనుక్కుని పోతారు సార్, వన్ మళ్ళీ అట్లే పట్టుకోవాలి, అది కాన్సెప్ట్. సో దట్ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ దిస్. And then they have something called APO, Advanced Planning Optimizer. Yeah, they also call it SCM, Supply Chain Management also. Okay, so this focuses on, there are sub models within this, like say DP, Demand Planning. Says from today, what is my demand of my product for next 24 weeks? So they can do demand planning. They have something called GATP, Global Availability to Promise. For example, say I would like to buy some car. I walk into some showroom and say I want car of this model. Yeah. So what they do is they don't say no, saying it's not available in that store. Okay, what they do is they check the global availability whether they can deliver the stock, deliver the vehicle within the required time from any other location. That is called global availability. Before I promise my customer, I check the availability of the product global, not within one place or global. I check in this, and then this also called a system network planning. Say I need to ship my goods from one place to another place, and it also does a planning. What is the shortest way to deliver the goods? All those are built into this APOs, Advanced Planning Optimization. This is more onto and purchasing gets into that. Inventory, all the stuff gets into that. Okay. And they have got something HCM, which actually human capital management, which is basically on HR module, which basically deals with all the payroll, time management, personal administration, all those gets into this. Like this, they have got different set of products which they call it as SAP Business Suite. And all these are responsible for processing different set of transactions in the business. Okay, boss, fine. Okay. They have got another set of products like SAP BW. So this is another application. Now the latest version would be 7.4. Okay. Now SP8 is available now with this. When I say SP8, it's a support pack. All A software we have software updates, right? Same way you'll have a support pack. This is the latest version now, 7.4 with SP8. Okay. Okay, boss. So this is a separate application like ECC or CRM. So this is not a module in ECC. This is a separate application altogether. Clear? And purpose of SAP BW is what? Why do we use this application? Okay. Now look at this. This is an EDW bus. Enterprise Data Warehouse bus. SAP BW is an application which is implementing the concept of EDW bus, Enterprise Data Warehousing bus. Okay. Now, if you look at any application, okay, any application in the world would have some concept for which it is been designed for. ఒక అప్లికేషన్ ఉందంటే ఇప్పుడు నోట్ ప్యాడ్ ఒక అప్లికేషన్ ఎందుకు మనం టైప్ చేసుకునే కోసం అండ్ సేవ్ దట్ ఎస్ ఎ ఫైల్ అదొక పర్పస్. ఒక పర్పస్తో ఒక అప్లికేషన్ డెవలప్ అవుతుంది ఎప్పుడైనా కూడా. ఓకే. సో SAP BW is an application, EDW is a concept. ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ డేటా వేర్హౌస్ అనేది ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉన్నది. ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తూ వాడు SAP BW సాఫ్ట్వేర్ తయారు చేసాడు. అది కాన్సెప్ట్. సో SAP BW is an application implementing the concept of enterprise data warehousing. అంటే ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ డేటా వేర్హౌసింగ్ అంటే ఏమేమి చేయాలో BWతో అవన్నీ చేయగలుగుతాం. అది కాన్సెప్ట్. ఓకే. Clear this, boss? Like this, we have applications like SAP BW. You heard about something called PI, process integration. Like you heard about Informatica, which is like ETL tool or integration tool. So we can use SAP PI. Previously we were calling it XI. Now we call as PI, process integrator, which we can use it for integrating multiple applications here. And we heard something called EP, Enterprise Portal. If you are from BO background, you might know your Launchpad, where you publish your reports as a portal. Say you design your reports in any of these SAP applications, it will be one full-fledged portal, website laga, and you can publish all your reports out of portal, and users will start accessing it from portal. When users are accessing it from portal, they don't even know whether data is coming from BW or whether it is from CRM or APO, what it is. They just look at all the reports in SAP portal. It will be more of people with Java background, they get into that kind of applications. Okay. And there is also application called MDM, Master Data Management. Okay. There is also application called Master Data Management. Master Data Management, this is basically to handle all your master. What is master data? Detailed information about any entity, we call it as master data. For example, say customer is one entity. So information about customer is master data. So when you say MDM, master data management, we are going to use this application to process the master data. Why do we need to process it explicitly? Let's say I have my business in globally. I have different applications processing transactions of different regions. Like for Europe, I have got different applications. For North America, I have got different applications. Say for Asia Pacific, I have got different applications. Let's say I have got a person who is a customer in all the 3 areas with me. Like when he's moved on to Europe, I've got some customer data maintained of him. I've got some customer data maintained in this application, in all the 3 applications, but all these 3 are same. Because when I try to fill my form, ఒకసారి ఏం పెడతా అంటే కుక్కట్పల్లి బాలాజీ నగర్ అని పెడతాం, ఇంకో దగ్గర బాలాజీ నగర్ కుక్కట్పల్లి అని పెడతా, బట్ ఇట్స్ ఆల్ సేమ్. సో getting all this master data, forming one unique master data is what they do in what MDM, master data management. Clear on this? That is like this. We have lots of tools. వీటిలన్నీ కాకుండా IS solutions అంటారు. So when you say IS అంటే industry specific అన్నట్టు, అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు ECC ఉందన్న, ఇది జనరల్ ECC, ఓకే, జనరల్ అప్లికేషన్. వాట్ SAP has done is they have developed an application ECC for insurance, for oil and gas, for mining. అంటే దట్ ఈస్ దే have developed అంటే వాడు ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు SAP ECC ఇచ్చినానుకో, వాడు మళ్ళీ ఆయిల్ అండ్ గ్యాస్ తీసుకుని వాడు ఫుల్ కస్టమైజ్ చేసుకునే బదులు వాడి కోసం స్పెసిఫిక్గా కస్టమైజ్ చేసి ఇచ్చేస్తాడు, ఊరో తీసుకోవడం వాడుకోవడం అన్నమాట. అట్లా ఎంత ఈజీగా వాడుకోగలిగితే అంత రిటర్న్ ఆన్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. అని కొంటే వాడుకోగలిగితే ఎక్కువ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్, రిటర్న్ ఆన్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ ఉన్నట్టే. సో దే కేమ్ అవుట్ విత్ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ IS, ఇండస్ట్రీ స్పెసిఫిక్ సొల్యూషన్స్. లైక్ you'll have some ECC, అన్ని ECCలో ఉన్నాయి. you'll have ECC with IS అంటే ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఫర్ ఆయిల్ అండ్ గ్యాస్, పెట్రోలియం, లేకపోతే మైనింగ్, లేదా కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్, అట్లా రీటైల్, రియల్ ఎస్టేట్, అట్లా దే కమ్ అవుట్ విత్ సమ్ స్పెసిఫిక్ ఇండస్ట్రీ సొల్యూషన్స్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే, ఇంకా అది కాకుండా దే వాట్ సంథింగ్ SAP బిజినెస్ 1 అని ఒకటి ఉంది. దిస్ ఇస్ యాక్చువల్లీ application which is focusing on small and middle scaled companies. అంటే ఇదేంటంటే దిస్ విల్ గివ్ యూ కంప్లీట్, ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి కదా, దాంట్లో కొద్దిగా దీంట్లో కొద్దిగా అన్ని కొద్ది కాన్సెప్ట్స్ కలిపేసి ఒకే అప్లికేషన్. పెద్ద కస్టమర్స్కి దే హ్యావ్ ఎంటైర్ సపరేట్ వేర్ హౌస్. అట్లా నాకు అంత డబ్బులు లేవు అన్న కంపెనీస్కి ఒకే సొల్యూషన్తోనే అన్ని ఇచ్చినట్టుగా ఒకే అప్లికేషనే దే కెన్ డూ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ప్రాసెసింగ్, దే కెన్ డూ data warehousing within that, they can do reporting, everything can be done within one suite. That is what they refer to as SAP Business 1 అంటారు. ఓకేనా? And they have latestly now they took over something called business objects also again. Bob J అంటారు. Now what SAP has done is it was somewhat weak in the reporting front with more of graphical dashboarding stuff. So SAP took over something called SAP Business Objects, and then now it started leading the reporting front-end layer also. Now they got lots of tools which comes along with the BO for dashboarding or for creating more analytical reporting or for more pixel-based perfect reports. They have lot of client tools come up as part of BO consumption. So SAP చూసుకున్నాక it is become more stronger even at the reporting layer also. So it's basically on the business intelligence. But business objects also has got something called EIM అంటే ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. దే ఆల్సో దీంట్లో ఏముంటుందంటే బాబ్జేలో ఇట్లా BI అంటే బిజినెస్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అంటే ఇట్స్ ప్యూర్ రిపోర్టింగ్ క్లయింట్స్. అంటే దే హ్యావ్ టూల్స్ లైక్ వెబ్బీ, క్రిస్టల్ అని కొన్ని రిపోర్టింగ్ టూల్స్ ఉంటాయి. వి జస్ట్ యూజ్ దెమ్ అండ్ దెన్ క్రియేట్ రిపోర్ట్స్ ఆర్ డాష్ బోర్డ్స్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్ స్టఫ్. దట్ ఈస్ BI బిజినెస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్లో. ఇంకా వీళ్ళ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ EIM అంటారు అంటే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మేనేజ్మెంట్, విచ్ ఇస్ లైక్ యూ హెడ్ అబౌట్ BODS. So SAP also has its own tool for BODS and which is like BO data services, which is actually ETL tool. Like you heard about Informatica, old data stage, yeah, and BODS is similar to that, which is an ETL tool, which comes with the acquiring of business objects again. Okay, they have something like credit analytics and they have something called BPC and business planning and consolidations, which actually sits on top of BW. BW మీద ఇది కూర్చుంటుంది BPC అనేది, which is actually business planning and consolidation. అట్లా they got lot of tools and they also have their own database now, which is HANA. So SAP has got its own database, which is in-memory database, IMDB. So when it's IMDB, it's a normal relational database like Oracle or SQL Server or MS Access, whatever it is, but only thing is it holds all its data in main memory, that is RAM. Data anta RAM lo undam valla fast ga undi, high, it is giving you high performance results. So they have a database like in memory databases also now. So like this they got different portfolio, they got different products in the portfolio. Okay, so they do business with all this set of products, but out of this we are focusing on this one. So this is our focus of the course. So we are focusing on this particular application, SAP BW. అంటే ఏమేమి అప్లికేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయో ఒక ఐడియా ఉండాలన్న, బికాస్ ఇఫ్ యూర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఇట్, బికాస్ ఎస్పెషలీ వెన్ యూ లుకింగ్ ఇట్ BW, you will be extracting data from ECC, CRM, APO, SCM, and because you're at the center, you deal in the front end, you deal with BO, in the back end, you deal with all this business suite. So you're almost at the center, you deal with everyone. Okay, so at least you should know that there are some applications like that. Okay, good. So before we start up with, so when I was referring to all these products, I was referring them as applications. I was referring to them as what? Applications. So for example, let's say in the olden days we used to have it like this. Let's say I have some supermarket bus, and you just walk in, pick up the products, and stand in a line for a billing, and then you get it billed, right? So what happens? So they want to speed up the billing. They've implemented they want to develop some software bus. What do you do? I use, let's say I use VB and Oracle. Let's say I use VB, design the UI, user interface. To store all the data, let's say I use some database in the back end, let's say Oracle was, okay. Then when I have a lot of buttons in the front end, like say save, cancel, clear, all this. When you click save, when she clicks save, what should happen? The data from the front end screen should be collected and then put into what? Database. Let's say I give them some other screen where they say show me data, then all the data from the database should be read and then shown to invoice. So what I've done is I've used some VB for front end, and then I use some what? A database, okay, and then it runs on OS bus. Any application you take in must run on OS. I develop an exe file. Can they run the exe file without OS bus? No, right? So they need OS, and for what reason did we build this application bus? Billing, for processing sales or billing. So the purpose of developing this application was to automate the billing process bus. అట్లా ప్రపంచంలో నువ్వు ఏ అప్లికేషన్ చూసుకున్నా ఒక ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్కి ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ వాడాలా, బ్యాక్ ఎండ్కి ఒక డేటాబేస్ వాడాలా, వాడు ఓఎస్ వాడాలా, బిల్లింగ్ వాడాలి. అంటే బిల్లింగ్ వాడేది కదా, ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉంటుంది. ఇట్ ఆల్వేస్ హ్యావ్ సమ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఫర్ విచ్ ది అప్లికేషన్ ఇస్ బీన్ డిజైన్డ్ ఫర్. ఓకే, గుడ్. చూడండి, now when I say BW is also an application, okay, it must have some front end, it must have back end and OS, and then concept also. So ABAP is a language through which this application is being designed. So SAP BW application is being designed by using programming language what? ABAP. So for all the front end and the logic is all built with what? ABAP bus, okay. And then database, you can install with any database bus. You can install your BW software with any database bus, okay. But if you want to install BW with SAP HANA as a database, it is only allowed from BW 7.3 SP5 version only. I'll just write it. HANA is allowed only from BW 7.3 SP5. Only from BW 7.3 SP5 we are able to have BW sitting on top of HANA. Prior to that, the prior versions doesn't support it. But SAP ఏమంటున్నారంటే 7.3 SP5 నుంచి ఒప్పుకుంటున్నా సరే, కానీ better is you have it 7.4 with SP8. That's the best one to have it on HANA, because it's given more integration towards HANA. Okay. So that's how you can install your BW software on any database you want, okay. And then OS, generally you can have it on Windows or you can have it on Unix or Linux or whatever. Okay, boss. One day software కొనుక్కున్న how do I install? First I install my OS, then I'll install my database, then I'll install BW software on top of it. Okay, so BW sits on some database. It can be installed on any database you want. And then concept is EDW, Enterprise Data Warehousing. Okay, boss. Now question is, What is EDW? What is enterprise data warehousing? Okay. Okay. You said this is your EDW, okay, and then you can have lot of applications. We call them as source systems, and here you could have SAP Business Suite, right? Or we can have non-SAP applications. It could be anything, boss. Okay. So let's say I have my client. Let's say I've got some business where I'm processing lot variety of transactions for my business. Okay. Then what I do to process all the transactions, I am using n number of applications. You don't believe there are clients like BMW. They use 365 applications to process all the transactions. 365. So like this, you will have many applications. So whatever it is, boss, you have to extract from all this. You extract all the data and put into your warehouse, boss. Okay. And then you can do reporting on the warehouse, or you can do reporting on the other applications. So when you say reporting, it means what? Analysis. Okay. From all these different sources, you extract the data. Okay. But getting data from different source systems into warehouse is what we call it as extraction. We deal that as ETL and extraction, transferring, and what? Loading. Okay, boss. And then on top of this, we start creating your reporting for business analysis. Okay. So decision making. So with these reports, you do a decision making of the business. In the concept. So this is about, so all this together including is what we call it as warehouse. This is an enterprise completely. Extraction, storing nothing but we call it as modeling. We store data in a multi-dimensional modeling and doing reporting on top of it. Now if you look at SAP BW, it can do entire. It can do extraction, it can do modeling, it can do reporting. Prior to BW, they were implementing the concept of data warehousing was still there. They were implementing that concept with combination of tools, like they were using Informatica for ETL, they were using some database for staging, and they were using some reporting tools like BO or Cognos. They are combining multiple tools and implementing the concept of data warehousing. And SAP came out with something called BW, which was an end-to-end data warehousing. See, I can use BW for extraction, modeling, and reporting also. So you had someone.
Like here the EW is a BW line.
Yeah. So this is actually concept, and this is what been implemented with what? Your SAP BW. That's what I mean. So BW is an application implementing this concept. So with this, you should understand that okay, when you say you're learning BW, you're going to learn how do I extract data from different systems, how do I model this data, and how do I do reporting on top of this data. అంతే కదన్నా. ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ డేటా వేర్హౌసింగ్ అంటే ఇది, మామూలు డేటా వేర్హౌసింగ్ అంటే ఇది కాన్సెప్ట్. BW ఈజ్ ఇంప్లిమెంటింగ్ దట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అంటే ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ డేటా వేర్హౌసింగ్ నువ్వు ఏం చేయగలుగుతావు, BW వాడు అవన్నీ చేయగలగాలి, అది కాన్సెప్ట్. So BW is an application developed by SAP which gives you all the tools and techniques or adapters or connections which can enable you to extract data from different systems, do modeling of data, and then do reporting on top of this data. And here we store data in multi-dimensional format, where which allows you to analyze multiple angles with data stored in a single set of data. ఒక డేటాని మల్టిపుల్ యాంగిల్స్లో నువ్వు అనలైజ్ చేయగలుగుతావు, అది కాన్సెప్ట్. ఎనీథింగ్ టు బి క్లియర్ హియర్? క్లియర్? ఓకే. So this could be anything, business suite, non-SAP, legacy, XML files, Okay, or if there is some case where you're not able to integrate that to BW, we can use some third party tools and connect through BW bus. So if there are some tools which I'm not able to connect, I can use BODS, connect this external system, and then BODS will start connecting to what? BW bus. Maximum we can connect, but if there is a case like that, we can still use some third party ETL tools to connect those applications also. ఎందుకంటే anything it's always a database bus, so you can connect to that. Most of the databases are certified. If not, then you have something called UD Connect, which gives you JDBC connection. Through Java connector, I think you can connect to any database in the world. Basically, performance wise, if it is slow, you tend to use some other ETL tools you can also be used. What is it?
So by non-SAP application means we can extract data from Oracle financials or
Anything. Oracle Finance, anything. What was that then?
So SAP BW it will only SAP the pods are used
No. See, this whatever is referring to ETL here, this is the flexibilities from BW itself. BW gives you flexibilities or connectors or adapters or the tools and techniques to extract. You can do this. If there is some applications which you are not able to integrate directly to BW, in those cases you can use ETL in the between as a middle layer between the source and BW. You can use ETL. Otherwise, it is not mandatory that you always use BODS. No. Rare scenario where you are not able to connect to that. For example, say I want to extract some unstructured data from Facebook. I will not be able to do that with BW. In that case, I might need BODS into it. So BODS will connect to that web services, and then from there it pushes data into BW. So if there is a case that you are not able to connect through BW directly, you can start using other ETL tools also. Informatica can be used to integrate it to BW, BODS, anything can be integrated. That's how it is.
but sir, Informatica is also reporting tool.
Yeah. Informatica is an ETL tool. It's a transformation tool, not reporting tool. So like BODS, Informatica, data stage, all these are like ETL tools. In an exceptional case which you can't connect directly to BW, use those as a middle layer and connect the external applications to BW. That's how it is.
Yeah, it's only blackboard side, the banner side.
No, when they say reporting, they don't teach reporting with Informatica. They use some other reporting tool like Cognos or something, and then. So that was a course which will cover you on data warehousing with non-SAP, like grouping multiple tools and they implement a warehousing. XI and PIM, a process which will integrate. We can also use that also. You can use that also. ETL, that's Okay. So knowing this, how can I use it? Why SAP BW? So now you know what is BW. Now I need to understand why BW. Why should I use BW? And so data warehousing and enduku. Why do I need this concept? Okay, boss. So to understand this, నేను థియరిటికల్గా 4-5 పాయింట్లు చెప్పినా you don't get this. What I'll do, I'll just take some cases what my lot of customers are using, why they're using BW, then you'll understand the purpose of using BW. Okay. You heard about this? This is my personal experience, what I worked with them. You heard about Shell bus? Good. So they use BW for this purpose now. Look at this. It's not that they're using BW only for this. This is one scenario for what they're using BW for. Okay. So I'll get to that. They are doing some business. Okay. So then some of the management consultants have understood their business process. They have suggested some changes in their process. What they had is like they have a process like this. They enter into a contract with the customer. Based on the contract, they will have a sales order create. Sales order. Then they do a delivery, and then billing. All those happens. So when I say contract, a customer enters into contract with the Shell company saying, from Jan 1st 2015 till December 2015, every month you are supposed to give me 100 liters of diesel or petrol or whatever it is. That is a contract. Every month in the contract they'll write it down. Every month you'll have to deliver on 5th of this month. Okay. That's the agreement. So on the 5th of every month they'll create a sales order for these quantities, and then they do a delivery, and then subsequent delivery fulfillment, billing, goods issue, everything is done. Itla undindi annattu. So when this was a process, existing process, what happened is, I was supposed to deliver it on 5th night. What customer does is, on 3rd night they suddenly call cell company saying, "Boss, send that 100 immediately." Send that 100 liters immediately. He cannot decide whether this customer is important or not. He is more worried whether I might lose this customer if I don't deliver this. They always have trucks which can hold 1000 liters. So what happens? They take a truck of 1000 liters, they are sending with 100 liters in it, and then sending it to the customer. Is it a loss to the company? Another the distance, but actually, if it takes its stock exactly in 5th, I would have planned. మొత్తం 1 లీటర్లు వేసుకుని వానికి 100 అన్ని ఇచ్చుకుంటూ రాపాను ప్లాన్ వేసుకుని ఉంటాను. బట్ వాడు ముందే అడుగుతున్న డబ్బులు పోయినట్టే కదన్నా, నేను ఒప్పు వేసుకుని పంపించేస్తాను. అట్లా ఆ లీకేజ్ ఉన్నది. దే హ్యాడ్ దట్ దిస్ వన్ పాయింట్, దే హ్యాడ్ ఎ లీకేజ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ బిజినెస్ ఇన్ దిస్ పర్సన్. లెస్ దాన్ ఫుల్ ట్రక్ లోడ్, దట్ దే వర్ డీలింగ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ బిజినెస్ డీలింగ్ విత్ దిస్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ లెస్ దాన్ ఫుల్ ట్రక్ లోడ్. అదొకటి. లాస్ట్ మినిట్ చేంజెస్ కూడా ఉంటున్నాడు. అంటే సపోజ్ ఎవ్రీ మంత్ ఐ వాజ్ సపోజ్ డెలివర్ 100 liters కదా. వాట్ దే సో సడన్లీ దే కాల్, నాకు ఇది సార్ 100 వద్దు 80 చాలు అంటాడు, లేదా నాకు 120 ఇస్తాను సార్ అడుగుతాను. సో దిస్ నో మానిటరింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఇన్ దిస్, అండ్ దెర్ ఆర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ లీకేజెస్. సో దీనివల్ల చాలా డబ్బులు లాస్ అవుతుంది. సో దే హవ్ స్టడీడ్ దిస్ బిజినెస్ ప్రాసెస్, దే ప్రొవైడ్ ఆల్ దిస్ లూప్ హోల్స్ హియర్, అండ్ దెన్ దే సెడ్ ఓకే ఫైన్, హౌ డు వి సాల్వ్ దిస్. ఇది ఎస్ఏపిలో కాదు, బిజినెస్ సొల్యూషన్ ఏమి ఇచ్చినారంటే, ఓకే నౌ లెట్స్ డూ దిస్ వే, లిస్ట్ అవుట్ ఆల్ ద కస్టమర్స్ వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్, then do the customer segmentation. Don't go with gold, platinum anta panchayatile, only 2 are exceptional, essential anata. So they have defined some definitions. Say exceptional customer is someone who is ready to pay for a service. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను షాప్కి వెళ్తాను, నా మోటివ్ వెళ్ళి ఉంటుందంటే 1000 రూపాయలు 3 షర్ట్లు కొనాలని నేను ఉంటాను. వేరేడు అంటే ఎంతైనా పర్లేదన్నా, నాకు భారీ సర్వీస్ ఉంటే అంటే నేను షర్ట్ క్వాలిటీ పడను. తెలుగు ఐఎమ్ రిపీటింగ్ సేమ్ థింగ్, డోంట్ వరీ. ఇఫ్ ఐ గో టు సమ్ షాప్, ఓకే, సో ఐ గివ్ వెయిటేజ్ మోర్ ఆన్ ద సర్వీస్ వాట్ దే గివ్. ప్లీజ్ వెల్కమ్, కూల్ డ్రింక్, దానికి వెయిటేజ్ ఇచ్చి 5000 రూపీస్, ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఐ ట్రై టు బై షర్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5000 రూపీస్ ఆల్సో. అంటే అట్లా కస్టమర్ గారికి అట్లే కొనాలా, ఇట్లా కస్టమర్ గారికి ఇట్లే అమ్మాలన్నట్టు. సో ఇఫ్ ఐ యూస్ వన్ లాజిక్ ఆఫ్ సెల్లింగ్ 3 shirts for 1000 rupees for every customer, am I losing 4000 rupees from this customer? Adi concept. I need to get even this 4000 based on the customer. I need to catch up that amount also. Adi concept. So what they've done is they have defined the definition for exceptional and essential. Exceptional is a customer who is ready to pay for a service, okay, and essential is a customer who is not ready to pay a service. So let's do segmentation like that, and then based on the segmentation they came out with something called offer book. So for this type of exceptional customer, for this type of product, I'll give these offers. Less than full truckload is allowed, last minute changes is allowed, I'll maintain all the offers like that. Okay. So now let's say I get a call from the customer, based on the offer book I look at, and customer number in the exceptional అయితే పంపిస్తాం సార్, no issues sir. Exceptional అయితే sorry, not possible అంటారు. So they want to have an offer book like this. Then based on the offer book they start creating the contracts, and based on the contract the sales order is done, and the next subsequent delivery is done. So all this is then what, once the client has accepted this business proposal, they have done this customization in SAP ECC, because SAP ECC is what the transactional processing system, right? So in SAP ECC they have done customer segmentation, okay, they have maintained offer books, they started customize the screen to create contracts, they customize screen to create sales orders, deliveries, all this was okay. Now the question, now the new business process is implemented, they are doing with new business process. Now they want to monitor this new business process in a specific region. How many contracts have been created? This is my question. At the top level management, they want to monitor whether this new process is working out or not. Right? In this particular region, how many contracts have been created? How many are in compliance with offer book, and how many are not in compliance with offer book? And more the non-compliance, more I'm not following my process, more I'm losing my money. Yes sir. So this is a kind of report. మనం రిపోర్ట్ లాగుతాం సెలెక్ట్ అది కాదు పాయింట్. ఆ రిపోర్ట్ వల్ల బిజినెస్ నాకేంది అన్నాడు. So with this report, is he benefiting from the report or not? Yes or no? Same way, you can have some reports on contract compliance. Let's say you have sales orders. Take the sales order, checks against the contract and give the compliance report. ఇంకా దాంట్లో చాలా ఉంటాయి. ఇట్స్ నాట్ జనరల్గా ఇది ఒక సినారో వేర్ దే వర్ యూజింగ్ బీడబ్ల్యూ రిపోర్ట్స్ టు మానిటర్ కంప్లీట్ న్యూ బిజినెస్ ప్రాసెస్. ఈ బిజినెస్ ప్రాసెస్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినందుకు వాటి ఈ ప్రోడక్ట్ వచ్చింది అన్నట్టు ఆబ్వియస్గా. అంటే వాటి దే గోట్ చార్జ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ మనీ, బట్ వాట్ కస్టమర్ సీస్ ఈస్ వాల్యూ ఫ్రమ్ దట్. నువ్వు ఎస్ఏపీ ఈసీ కొనుక్కున్నా, నువ్వు చేయన్నా, నువ్వు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకున్నా వాడు ఇచ్చేది. వాట్ ఈస్ ఈ గెట్టింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్? ఓకే, నువ్వు బిజినెస్ ప్రాసెస్ చెప్పినావు, దీనివల్ల మనీ ఎంత సేవ్ అవుతుంది. దట్స్ వాట్ వీ ప్రపోజ్డ్ అండ్ దే యాక్సెప్టెడ్ ప్రపోజ్. సేమ్ థింగ్ వాజ్ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ ఇన్ ఈసీసీ విత్ అండ్ BW reports. This was one requirement where Shell was using this reports to monitor the new business process what they have. Okay, Nana? Fine. Actually, I even spoke to the person who proposed this concept to the customer. He says he picked this concept from casinos. కెసినోలో డబ్బులు పోయే కొద్దీ చెప్పండి సార్ అంటాడు, డబ్బులు గెలిచే కొద్దీ వాడు నెగ్లెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. డబ్బులు పోయినోడు వానికి ఎక్సెప్షనల్ కస్టమర్, పోగొట్టుకున్నాడు. డబ్బులు గెలిచినోడు వానికి ఎసెన్షియల్ కస్టమర్. అట్లా నీకు డబ్బులు పోయే కొద్దీ నీకు ఎన్నుకొచ్చి నిలబడతాను రా, ఏం చెప్పండి సార్, ఏం కావాలి సార్ అన్నట్టు. అంటే కస్టమర్ వాడేమిటంటే చాలా మంది కస్టమర్స్ సర్వీస్కి ఎక్కువ వాల్యూ ఇస్తారన్న ప్రోడక్ట్ కంటే కూడా. అట్టడం బట్టలు అంటాడు, వాని దగ్గరే లెక్క ఎక్కువ నొక్కాలని. దట్స్ వే. సో దెర్ ఆర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ కస్టమర్స్ హూ గివ్ మోర్ వాల్యూ ఫర్ సర్వీస్ రాదర్ దెన్ the product. So that is what you treat that customer as exceptional customer and get more money from. Adi concept. That's the concept. Okay, boss. And you also have some customers using you have Reliance Fresh, boss. Even this customer uses SAP BW, boss. You anytime seen Reliance Fresh where you see some truck delivering some vegetables to him. They have big truck and where it goes to every shop and every Reliance Fresh and then keep delivering the vegetables there, right? So actually what happens is like this is like POS, point of sale. Each Reliance Fresh is what we refer it as retail. POS, point of sale antam. From morning to evening they perform transactions, which is stored in the local system. They have the system, they record the transaction, it is stored in the local database. At night, data from all this point of sales are loaded into central database, which is here into central database, normal database. From there it gets into BW. Okay, so all the data comes by night 12 o'clock. They only have 4 hours time and they should return back the analysis. Based on the transactions, they should understand the inventory at each of the POS and start delivering orders to different trucks. Which truck should deliver what vegetables in what quantities to which shop by 4 o'clock. ఆ POS సేల్స్ డేటా తీసుకుని అనాలిసిస్ ఏం చేయాలన్నా, ఒకసారి ఈ దీంట్లో మొత్తం పొటాటోస్ అన్నీ అమ్ముడిపోయినాయి, రేపు పొద్దున ఒక 5 కేజీలు దీనికి పంపించాలని రావాలి. అది అనాలిసిస్ చేసేకి సిస్టమ్ ఉరుకుతాను అన్నాడు. ద 4 hours టైమ్ వాజ్ నాట్ రియలీ సఫిషియంట్ టు డూ దట్. కెన్ ఐ సే దిస్ కాల్డ్ డేటా మైనింగ్. డేటా మైనింగ్ అంటే సే you give some data and then give some report out and user looks at it and analyzes it. యూజర్ చూసి గెర్లీ కలరింగ్ అంత టైం లేదన్న. బై 4 o'clock you should have shoot the orders out. Okay, so then they wanted the system itself to analyze it and then give the analysis out. That is called data mining. So Reliance Fresh was using BW for the purpose of data mining also. We have some concepts called APDN, analysis, process and design, which can be used for data mining concepts. It's not about just storing it and giving reports. This data can be further refined and give out. Inka with SAP BW 7.4 with HANA, we also have included something called predictive analytics and gochindi. SAP took over some company called Kexen and a company తీసుకుంది, which is more strong in predictive analytics. Even so predictive analytics come in addition with data mining. అంటే సింపుల్ అన్న, రేపు ఒక షాప్లో ఎన్ని కేజీలు పొటాటోస్ కావాలో నేను ఎట్లా ప్రెడిక్ట్ చేస్తానన్నా. ద లాట్ ఆఫ్ కండిషన్ విచ్ కమ్స్ ఇన్. నువ్వు డైలీ 5 కేజీలు వేస్తారు, రేపు పండగ అయితే 7 కేజీలు వేయాలి. సో ద లాట్ ఆఫ్ కండిషన్ విచ్ గెట్స్ ఇన్ టు ఇట్ టు డిటర్మైన్ ద లాజిక్ అండ్ యూ డూ దట్ విత్ డేటా మైనింగ్ అండ్ కమ్స్ అవుట్ విత్ ద ఆర్డర్స్. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్ హ్యాండిల్డ్ విత్ SAP BW. Clear this? And you heard about something called HUL, retail again, retail company. టీవీలో చూస్తాడు 2 సోపులు కొంటావు సోప్ ఫ్రీ, 3 సోపులు కొంటావు. దట్స్ ఆల్ అనాలిసిస్ కమ్స్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ బై రిపోర్ట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ పీడబ్ల్యూ బస్. యాక్చువల్ ఏంటంటే దెర్ ఆర్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ హూ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఐఏఎం. ఓకే, ఐ వర్క్ ఫర్ దెమ్. దెర్ ఆర్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ హూ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఐఏఎం అండ్ దే అనలైజ్ రిపోర్ట్స్ కమింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. Here we are delivering some reports on demand aggregation ratio. Ante for example, they had APO system which does the demand planning for next 24 weeks. What is my demand of the product? And then from ECC, which actually does all the transactions of stock, I can know the stock bus. From SAP ECC, I need to extract my data and then calculate my stock. From APO, I need to extract all the demands. I get know the demands. From BW, I need to manipulate my stock with the demands and see how many weeks demand can I sustain with the existing stock. ఈ ఉన్న స్టాక్తో ఎన్ని వీక్స్ డిమాండ్ నేను సస్టైన్ కాగలుగుతాను. దట్ ఈస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రిపోర్ట్స్. అండ్ దెన్ వీ గివ్ అనాలిసిస్ ఆన్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోడక్ట్, పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కస్టమర్. సో దెన్ దే బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్ రిపోర్ట్స్ దే కమ్ అవుట్ విత్ అనాలిసిస్ ఆఫ్, దే కమ్ అవుట్ విత్ ఆఫర్స్ విచ్ కెన్ ఇంప్రూవైజ్ దర్ బిజినెస్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ ఏమంటే సేమ్ ఇదే కాన్సెప్టే. దర్ వాంట్ ఇట్స్ ఆన్ స్పీడ్ అన్నట్టు. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ దే వాంట్ ఇట్ మోర్ రియల్ టైమ్. ఓకే, బీడబ్ల్యూ గివ్స్ ఇట్ మోర్ ఆఫ్లైన్. అంటే కస్టమర్ పర్ఫార్మ్స్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఇన్ ద మార్నింగ్, goes home, sleeps. You start analyzing data in the next day. By the time customer has already gone home. Okay, I should analyze this particular customer as and when he is in the shop itself. అర్థమైందన్న, నువ్వు వచ్చి గీ బట్టలు ముట్టుకోగానే అరుస్తాడల్లా, ఓ గీ కొంటే గీ ఫ్రీ, గీ కొంటే గీ ఫ్రీ అన్నట్టు. Their analysis is getting to that level now. That is what is more of real time. Getting what I'm saying, this dynamic offering and a concept. For example, you start change. I don't know how many of you observed about Facebook లో నాకు కొడుకు పుట్టినట్టు పక్కన పేపర్స్ యాడ్ వస్తుందంట. హౌ ఇస్ ఇట్ కమింగ్? దట్స్ డిజిటల్ మార్కెటింగ్. ఆ రేంజ్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయింది అన్నట్టు. So that is what, it's more of predictive analytics coming in and more of analysis on the performance of the product, performance of the customer, and then they do multi-level analysis and they come out with offers. That's what HUL was using it for. Okay.
Predictive analysis is done HANA.
PAL and then you heard about GE Silicons. There's a client called GE Silicons. Now they call it Genpact. They call it as now. Okay. So even we work for them also on BW. They just use BW for reporting purpose on the position of sales. Like say they have normal sales process like sales order, delivery, billing, and post goods issue, all this. Okay, and then gets into finance. Now what they want is they wanted to know, have some reports on position of sale. Ante backlog orders ennu unnai. What is my backlog quantity? What are my back orders? How many orders have yet to be delivered? Atla. They want to know what are my open deliveries? What is my open deliveries yet in the open delivery quantities enti. So they just want to know the position of those sales, and that's what they were using BW for all the reports. So we were extracting all the sales order data, open orders, close orders, deliveries, billing, and then giving out all the reports on stuff on that. Giving what is my total order value. How many are open orders, how many are closed orders, out of open how many are backlog, how many are back orders. So getting out a complete position of this. So that's what they were just using it just for reporting purpose. Yeah. And you heard about this BMW bus. I worked almost 4 years for the same client bus. Okay, and German clients are really tough. Okay, ఈ సిస్టమ్ చూసి నువ్వు ప్రపంచంలో ఏ సిస్టమ్ అనేది వాడచ్చు, అంత కాంప్లెక్స్ ఉంది. ఇట్ విల్ బి సో మచ్ కాంప్లెక్స్. ఓకే, వాడు ఇంకా బిడులు ఎట్లా వాడాలో అట్లా వాడతాడు అన్నట్టు. దిస్ ఎ పర్సన్ హూ యూజెస్ బిడులు టు కరెక్ట్లీ అన్నట్టు. అంటే దే యూజ్ సమ్ అప్లికేషన్ కాల్ రాడార్ అని ఒకటి వాడతాడు దీంట్లో. దే యూజ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, రాడార్ అంటే దిస్ ఇస్ మెయిన్లీ డీలింగ్ విత్ ఇండైరెక్ట్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ అన్నట్టు. దిస్ డీల్స్ విత్ దిస్ డీల్స్ విత్ ఇండైరెక్ట్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్. వెన్ యూ సే ఇండైరెక్ట్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ అంటే ఏంటంటే, so you buy some normal any if you look at any company, you buy raw materials, convert that to finished goods and sell it to customers. Generally that's how the general business goes on. The point is, when you're buying some raw materials, if you're buying this raw material which is directly used in the production of the product, then that is direct procurement. Okay, if you're buying some if you're buying some raw materials from the suppliers which are not used directly in the production or manufacturing, then we call this indirect procurement. For example, buying t-shirts for employees of my company, అది డైరెక్టా ఇండైరెక్టా? టీ-షర్ట్లు కొనకపోతే కార్లు తయారుగా ఉన్నాయి అయితే there is no difference with t-shirt and car, so that is called as indirect procurement. So they want to focus more on indirect procurement, because one way of increasing my profit is reducing my cost. Okay, when most of my cost is incurred in procurement, పెద్ద పెద్ద కంపెనీలు భయంకరం, they spend lot of money on procurement. Procurement could be direct procurement or indirect procurement. If I put brakes on direct procurement, will I affect my production quantities? Obvious. So ultimately, where should I put brakes on? Indirect procurement. That's what they are using reports. Okay, వాళ్ళకి ఎలా ఉందంటే they have their own business process for indirect procurement. Like they'll have some, normally whoever requires a product, they raise a PR, purchase requisition అంటారు. Okay, and this purchase requisition gets to some people called buyers అంటే BMW has got its own team of buyers who actually buy the product. వాళ్ళ డ్యూటీ మొత్తం కొండమే. They call them as buyers అన్నట్టు. So this purchase requisition gets to the buyer, okay, and he has to approve that. ఇది ఎందుకు రైజ్ అయింది, స్టాక్ లేదా, కొనాల్సిందేనా అన్ని వాడు చెక్ చేసుకుని, if he approves it, then it becomes a purchase order. Okay, then once the order is created, order is sent to multiple suppliers, ఒకరికి కాదు, because ఒకడైతే కుమ్మకి అయిపోతున్నాడు, ఒకటి పోదన్నట్టు. Always it is sent to multiple suppliers and then they do bidding, and whoever is less, the supplier should be technically approved, okay, valued, and then you should give less quotation. So I need to pick from them, and then once it is approved, then you'll have goods receipt done, and then invoicing is done. Itla indirect procurement process ila undi vallu. Okay, boss. Now the point is, okay, ila process undi. Now what? Okay, now what BMW does is, you have different team like buyers, right? For each buyer, okay, he has to, beginning of the year, he has to give a commitment. During this year, I will do so much of saving and what you call. ప్రతి బయర్కి ఒక టార్గెట్ పెడతాడు. ఓకే బా, నువ్వు పోయిన ఇయర్లో ₹1,00,00,000 ఖర్చు పెట్టిన, ఇన్ లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ యూ స్పెండ్ 1 crore. ఓకే, బట్ దిస్ ఇయర్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద సేవింగ్ విల్ యూ డూ? ఓకే బస్. సో అట్ ద బిగినింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇయర్ they do commitment saying I will save 10 lakh rupees with this boy, and it's not just giving you figure, you have to tell the particulars about it. They say I was buying this product from a different country, so it was costing me freight for 2 rupees, but now I have the same product within same country, so I am reducing 2 rupees in the freight, so 2 rupees for so and so I am saving 10 lakh rupees, and our commitment is certain. So that is my commitment. Okay, then they keep on doing normal transactions. There will be what? Purchase requisitions, purchase orders, bidding, and then they'll have goods receipt coming in, and then billing is done. So I extract all this information into BW, I have my commitments, then start comparing this. What is my saving commitments? ఈ బిడ్డింగ్ డేట్ తీసుకు ఎంత సేవింగ్స్ చేసినాడు, ఆ బిడ్డింగ్లో ఎంత సేవింగ్ చేసినాడు, ఎంత కమిట్మెంట్ ఇచ్చినాడు, ఇంత కూడా తగ్గిస్తున్నాడు లేదా? ఏముందన్న, ఒక సప్లయర్ గాడు బయట కుమ్మకైతే ఇంకేం చెప్పు, కంపెనీకి చెప్పు. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ దే వాంటెడ్ టు మానిటర్ ఫ్రమ్ BW యూజింగ్ దిస్ అప్లికేషన్. సో హియర్ దేవర్ ఇన్ purchase requisition was coming from different system, purchase orders was coming from different system, bidding data was coming in from different system, goods receipt what data was coming from mainframe system. ఒక్కోటి ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు హ్యూజ్ అన్న, కొన్ని millions of data spent every day on purchasing. So they have one dedicated mainframe system just to process purchase orders, they got one dedicated system for processing purchase requisition, one dedicated application just to process bidding అనుకుంటాను. So I need to consolidate all these data from different applications, then come out with this reporting. Getting this? Yeah.
So this means like if the company is maintaining Oracle and SAP, then BW can do the analysis from both.
Exactly. So with this now you can understand the points heterogeneous. So that's what I was saying. When you say enterprise data warehouse, it can extract data from multiple source systems and put data into one. Consolidating. You getting what I'm saying? That is what you can consolidating data from heterogeneous systems. It could be SAP, whereas non-SAP it could be Oracle or what, anything it could be. So it could be mainframe system also. Yeah, that's what. Now their application called Copos, it's all purely on planning. Within planning they have something called volume planning. And question for next, because actually they got around 6 plants for BMW. There is one plant where only 100 cars can be stored in the garage bus. Only 100, okay, not more than that. So they really depend on this volume planning a lot. For next month, how many cars should I produce of which model bus? That's the question. That is answered from BW bus. So they have got something called dealers. It will హైదరాబాద్లో BMW డీలర్ ఉంటాడు, డీలర్స్ రీజన్ వైజ్ అట్లా చెప్పి సెంట్రల్ అంటాడు. సెంట్రల్ టీమ్ ఇస్ ఇన్ మ్యూనిక్ బస్, జర్మనీ. సో వాట్ హ్యాపన్స్ ఎవ్రీ మంత్, ఓకే, at the end of like 10 days minde, dealer has to quote what is his requirement of which model bus. For X5 series I need so many, okay, X3 I need so many, X7 I need so many, and what models AL requirement AL, okay. So that will be consolidated at the region level, then it consolidated at the central level, then they get the complete the consolidated requirement bus, okay. Then they start understanding based on the requirement and what is availability, then difference is what they need to manufacture. వీడు 5 కార్లు కావాలన్నాడు, నాకు ఆల్రెడీ 2 కార్లు ఉన్నాయి, ఇంకెన్ని తయారు చేయాలి, 3 తయారు చేయాలి. సో దే హ్యావ్ కమ్ అవుట్ విత్ ఆల్ దిస్ వాల్యూమ్ ప్లానింగ్. సి ఈజ్ ఇట్ నాట్ ప్లానింగ్, నాకు నెక్స్ట్ మంత్ 5 కావాలంటే ప్లానింగ్ కదా, ఇట్స్ నాట్ రియల్, ఈజ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ ఇట్, ఇట్స్ ప్లానింగ్. సో దే యూజ్ దిస్ టూల్ ఫర్ ప్లానింగ్. సో ఇన్ BW we can also do planning also. We have something called integrated planning, or you heard about something called BPS, business planning and simulation, which can enable you to do planning of data also. So when you say planning, it's forecasting things. Even was planning until the Excel data kottare kadante, you can automate. There will be a lot of complex calculations which can be automated. For example, say this year I have a revenue of, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. I would like to plan my revenue for next year, okay. So generally let's say I come out with logic saying last year revenue plus 20% should be my target, my plan. So then what, instead of typing in, typing in, what I'll do, I can build up my logics within the planning application in BW, which will automatically copy the revenue of previous year to current year and then revalue it by 20%. At least a lot of planning functions which can copy data from one value set to another set, which you can reevaluate, repost. A lot of functions like this, and then you do planning. So in BW we can also do planning also, forecasting. So we can do mining, we can do reporting, we can do for planning also. That this is one requirement what they were been using BW for. Okay.
So this COPAS is the same as FICO or
COPAS, this is specific to that name was specific to BMW, their own naming. Okay. They were using lots of stuff. Yeah? So this is, so basically what I want. So do you get the different concepts? Like say what? So as part of BW, you can consolidate data from different applications into BW and then provide the data for reporting. And the same data can be further be mined and then give out the analysis out directly instead of depending on some person. And we can also do planning in BW. And in BW, can you do extraction? Can you extract data? Can you do modeling? Can you do reporting? Yes, it's an end-to-end data warehousing application. Okay. Now look, and one more point. If to answer a question, why should I use BW? Okay. For example, let's say I have ECC bus. Let's say I've got SAP ECC, okay. Let's say I've got Oracle Financials. I've got 2 applications. Let's say I've got ECC, which is dealing with all the purchasing stuff, and I've got Oracle Financials, which is basically dealing with all the financial general ledgers, all those stuff. Now I want to do reporting on them. I want to integrate purchasing data with finance and then do reporting. I can do without BW also. What is the option? What I can do is I can extract all those them into some other database, and then on top of the database I can do reporting with BO or Cognos, whatever it is. Let's say there is some finance team which is focusing on this. What they do, whatever database petkuni, they extract all this data into the database, they do reporting. Okay. So what is that they are getting? They are getting complete amount on purchasing. What are the budget allocated? How much did we spend on this? All those reports they get in this. Okay. Let's say there is some other person who comes in and say, I would like to do reporting on HR. Okay. Let's say you can do reporting on BO. Can I do reporting on BO directly on ECC? Yes, we can do this. Okay. Then what do you do? Let's say I build universe on top of ECC tables and then do reporting. So he's also getting some reports. So HR person is seeing some reports, this person is seeing some reports, he is seeing some other reports, okay, straight away using it from applications first. Let's say in HR reporting they had some formula for calculating. Normally HR they deal that as a department, they call that as cost center, because logical grouping where you incur cost they call it as cost center vocabulary, okay. So I want to know how much cost was incurred in that particular cost center. So they will have some formula what has been written in it, okay. Let's say let's say there's some other finance reporting where they are saying total cost. So in that HR cost is part of it. Here in this reporting he was mainly focusing on cost for my department. Wherever global is looking at total cost which is split across HR genta, purchasing length, he is looking at this, okay. In this report he has used his own logic. Here they have used own logic first. And that is giving us 10 lakhs and this is giving us 10 lakhs 50,000. You want the tappu? Yedi nijamu? You want the correct annattu? He is using his own ETL, own database, own logic of calculating. He is using own database, own universe, own formula to calculate this. So is it single fact of truth was? You want the number? 10 lakhs nammala, 10 lakhs annattu. So if you don't use a warehouse, you lose out a single point of truth. You cannot get that. So if I extract all this data to BW and then do the calculations at once and then store the data and then you won't get this common. When different reporting environments take the data from the same place, should the data be same? అవును కదా నిజంగా అంటే నువ్వు మనకి 10 లక్షలకి 10 లక్షల 50,000 తేడా మనకు పర్లేదులే బిజినెస్ ఓన్కి అట్లా కనిపిస్తే ఎత్తుపద సీన్ అంటే వాడికి అంటే బేసిక్ రిపోర్ట్ మీద నమ్మకం పోతున్నా అంటే ఇంకా వాడికి ఎవరిని చూసి అనలైజ్ చేయలేడు. సో టు హ్యావ్ ద సింగిల్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ట్రూత్ ఫర్ ఎనీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రిపోర్టింగ్, extract all the data and form a warehouse and then start distributing this. If you want, you can do reporting on the warehouse itself. If you want, you can take this data back to any other agile data marts and then do reporting. మొత్తం డేటా అంతా వేరే కి తెచ్చేయన్నా ఇక్కడ నుంచి నీకు మళ్ళీ వేరే అప్లికేషన్ కూడా తీసుకెళ్ళి అక్కడ రిపోర్టింగ్ చేసుకో. బట్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ హ్యాస్ టు యూజ్ ద సేమ్ డేటా విచ్ ఇస్ కమింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ వేర్ హౌస్. దెన్ ఓన్లీ దెన్ ద రిపోర్ట్స్ విల్ బి కన్సిస్టెంట్ త్రూ అవుట్ ఎనీ ఇంటర్ఫేస్. If you want, you can still do reporting in the warehouse. If you're not happy with the dashboarding or if you're not happy with the coloring, all those stuff, you can still use Excel application like BO, Cognos, or whatever it is. But they have to refer data from the single warehouse, single point of truth. That's what, again, the warehouse becomes important. Okay? That is one. And one more point I want to stress is, I don't know how many of you heard this, market lo HANA vachindi BW elipindane talk kuda undi. HANA is a database. HANA is a database. BW is an application which is implementing concept of warehouse. అంటే వేర్హౌస్లో ఏం చేయాలి, ఈటీఎల్ చేయాలి, అది చేయాలి, అవన్నీ బీడబ్ల్యూకి ఉంటాయి. HANA ఏంది డేటాబేస్ అంటే ఇట్లా ఓన్లీ యువర్ స్టోర్ యువర్ డేటాబేస్. అర్థమైందన్న అది పాయింట్. సో దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ రిప్లేసింగ్ ఇట్. సో వీ స్టిల్ నీడ్ BW ఫర్ ఇంప్లిమెంటింగ్ ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ డేటా వేర్హౌస్. దిస్ కెన్ యూజ్ HANA యాజ్ ఎ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ డేటాబేస్. దట్స్ వాట్ ఐమ్ సేయింగ్. We can install BW on Oracle or SAP HANA also. That is the concept. Did you understand now what BW is going to be? Suppose you should be, if you get to the customer, if you ask me what is my return on investment on buying BW, you should be in a position to explain. You should be able to understand the business and explain him what is that he gets out of it. మనం మొరటగా చూసినాం అనుకున్న డేటా ఎట్లా వస్తుంది, కనెక్టర్ ఏంది, అది చూస్తే అట్లే ఉంటుంది. అట్లగా చూడాల్సింది. You should look at what is the benefit my business gets out of it. మనకు మౌన్ రిపోర్ట్ లాగినట్టు ఉంటుంది, లాగేది కాదండి రిపోర్ట్. వాట్ బెనిఫిట్ ఈజ్ గోట్ గెట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్? I faced this situation where I was sitting with customer from Middle East. Okay, Intel group లో మిడిల్ ఈస్ట్ కస్టమర్ వచ్చినాడు. అంతా ఫుల్ బాడీ ప్రిపరేషన్, పవర్ పాయింట్లు, గేర్ పాయింట్లు, అందరూ మమ్మల్ని అందరూ బ్లేజర్లు వేసుకోమని చెప్పినారు. అందరూ వీఆర్ రెడీ. ఓకే, అండ్ హీ వాక్ ఇన్ విత్ హవాయి స్లిప్పర్స్. క్లయింట్ వాక్ ఇన్ విత్, మేమంతా ఫుల్ బ్లేజర్లు అంతా ఆడాడున్నాం. వాడు మాత్రం మామూలు ఈ కేమ్ విత్ హవాయి చెప్పులు వచ్చినాడు. వచ్చి స్టార్ట్ సినిమా అనగానే వాడు స్టాప్ అన్నాడు. ఈ స్టాప్ ఇమ్మీడియట్ అట్ ఫస్ట్ ప్లేస్. ఈ సెడ్, బస్ ఐ బీన్ సీయింగ్ BW ఫ్రమ్ 2.0 దట్ టైమ్ ఇట్ వాస్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ 3.5 ఉండింది. says I was looking at BW from 2.0. I know what is BW. Don't tell me what is BW. What a question is not. Tell me. His situation was this. I already have ECC. I have 1500 ABAP reports already built in. All my users are very much happy with those reports. They are able to run those reports every day looking at it. Now, why should I buy BW? Nakendi. Konte nakendi ante kada. If he is spending something, what is that he getting out of it? And question is not. ఇంకా మా వాళ్ళంతా ఇంకా టాప్ కదా ఇడంతా మేము వాంచాను మల్టీ డైమెన్షనల్ చాలా మేము దివస్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ మల్టీ డైమెన్షనల్ మోడల్ స్టార్ స్కీమ్ అంటే ఇవన్నీ కాదు కొత్తది చెప్పు అంటాను. ఓకే మనకు ఒక పాయింట్ ఒక పాయింట్ అన్నాను ఏమంటే వీ వుడ్ గివ్ యూ రిపోర్ట్ ఆన్ టాప్ 10 కస్టమర్ రిపోర్ట్ అంటే నార్మల్ అన్నాడు. విల్ గివ్ యూ రిపోర్ట్ ఆన్ టాప్ 10 ప్రోడక్ట్ అన్నాడు నార్మల్ అన్నాడు. We'll give you a report on one of your top customer is not buying one of your top product. అంటే పెన్ ఇట్లా పడేసి ఎంత డబ్బులు వాళ్ళు చెప్పండి. ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ గివ్ దిస్ రిపోర్ట్ ఐఎమ్ రెడీ టు పే ఎన్ని క్రోర్స్ అని నాకు ఇబ్బందులు ఇచ్చేయాలి. అంటే ఇట్ డజంట్ మీన్ దట్ ఈ కెనాట్ డిజైన్ దిస్ రిపోర్ట్ ఇన్ అబ్బాబ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ వైజ్ ఎన్ని జాయిన్స్ చేస్తే నువ్వు ఆ రిజల్ట్ ఇవ్వాలి కోసం. అంటే బేసికల్గా మనకి బీడబ్ల్యూ వాల్యూ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ రిపోర్ట్స్తో రాదన్న. ఈ గెట్స్ వాల్యూ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ బీడబ్ల్యూ వాట్ ఈస్ గెటింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. విత్ దిస్ వాట్ ఏమంటే విత్ దిస్ రిపోర్ట్ ఐ కెన్ నో ఇఫ్ ఈస్ ఆల్రెడీ టాప్ కస్టమర్ ఈజ్ వెరీ గుడ్ కస్టమర్ ఆఫ్ మైన్ బట్ నాట్ బయింగ్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ టాప్ మోస్ట్ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఆఫ్ మై కంపెనీ. వెన్ ఈస్ బయింగ్ నార్మల్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ మై కంపెనీ ఐ కెన్ ఆల్వేస్ మార్కెట్ ఎ టాప్ ప్రోడక్ట్ టు దట్ కస్టమర్ బస్. ఐ కెన్ ఇంక్రీజ్ మై ప్రాఫిట్స్. ఎస్ అన్నారు అంతే ఇంకా అయిపోయింది. 500 ప్రాజెక్ట్ వచ్చింది. So the customers doesn't look at the value based on the ఎన్ని కనెక్షన్స్ ఇచ్చినాడు బీడబ్ల్యూకి, బీడబ్ల్యూ మల్టీడైమెన్షనల్ మోడలింగ్ ఉందా, క్యూబ్ కలర్ బ్లూ ఉందా, వానికి అవన్నీ సంబంధం లేదు. డేటా ఎట్లా పెట్టుకో సంబంధం లేదు. ఆ రిపోర్ట్స్ ఆర్ యూస్ఫుల్ ఫర్ మై బిజినెస్. నాకు డబ్బులు వస్తాను ఎవరికంటే డబ్బులు కావాలంతే నాకేంది అన్నప్పుడు సాటిస్ఫై చేయగలిగితే అది కాన్సెప్ట్. సో ఇన్ BW we pro మల్టీ డైమెన్షనల్ రిపోర్టింగ్ వేర్ యూ కెన్ స్టోర్ డేటా in one form and analyze data from multiple angles. అది కాన్సెప్ట్. డేటా ఒకటే విధంగా ఉంటుంది కానీ మల్టిపుల్ యాంగిల్స్ నుంచి అనలైజ్ చేసుకుంటాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్ ఎట్లా అంటే లుక్ అట్ దిస్ సి ఐ సే కస్టమర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ 10 20 సంథింగ్ ఐ సే ప్రైస్ క్వాంటిటీ REV revenue. Say this is customer and product. ఇలా C1 say C1 C2 C2 yeah P1 P2 P1 P2 ఇది కూడా వద్దులే. జస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ ఓకే విత్ రెవెన్యూ. సో ఇది ఇలా ఉంది బస్. ఓకే and for customer I know like say C1 is from say Hyderabad, C2 is from say Bangalore, say product P1 is of sports model, say P2 is of say stationary goods. Okay, if you have to do with any other normal database, okay, so my requirement is this select, okay, not select, I just want to see a report on customer region and revenue source. Customer region and total revenue I want to see. What do you do if it is normal database? Okay, what you can do is you can just do what? Select customer. You basically join these two tables on what? On customer number, and you pick the location region from this master. Hyderabad, you bring in Hyderabad and Bangalore. Okay. Now what is it now? C1 both belongs to Hyderabad. So what is the value here? 200. And you bring 200. Okay. This is how you get the results. Normal. You can just write normal select. Say select customer region, sum of revenue from this table, from table 1 and table 2, where joined on customer number ante ee result vastundi. Same thing if I want it on the product, you will do a select statement on product versus this table and get this out. Okay, let's say I want a report where I can see anything I want. Say, if I drill down on region, if I look at if I want to analyze on the region, the join has to happen on what? Customer table and the fact table, transaction table. If I want to analyze on the product type, the join has to play on what? Product and what? This fact table was. For example, now ఇక్కడ కూడా ఇక్కడ P3 ఉందనుకో. For example, let's say there's a new transaction of P3 was. ఇప్పుడు if you write a select statement joining all the three tables, join customer, product and this, so this will fail out because P3 is not available here. So this record will not come into the reporting at all. Okay, but what I want is the join between these two tables should take place only when I do reporting on product type. Join between these two tables should take place only when I do reporting on customer type. నార్మల్ సెలెక్ట్ రాసేట్లు మొత్తం ఒకటేసారి రాసేస్తాను అట్ట కాదు. అంటే డైనమికల్గా అంటే ఐ మస్ట్ డూ స్లైసింగ్ అండ్ డైసింగ్ ఆఫ్ మై డేటాబేస్. అంటే ఇఫ్ ఐ డ్రిల్ ఆన్ మై రీజన్, ఇట్ హస్ టు జాయిన్ ఓన్లీ దీస్ టూ టేబుల్స్. Dynamically it should form a join on this. When I drill down on product type, it has to form join dynamically on these two tables. You can go for 16. So that is what slicing and dicing. That's what about multi-dimensional analysis was. Like imagine the data is stored like a tables only, but imagine you get the output as if it is a cube, multi-dimensional model. So you can analyze. So you just store data as it is like this 500s, okay, but you analyze the same data from multiple angles. ఇదే 500 ఇక్కడ నుంచి చూస్తే 225. Look at from here, you will get it as 200, 100%. అంటే dynamically it will be forming the joints whatever you want depending on the depth of analysis what you are doing. So storing data at one place but using the same data to analyze it from multiple angles is what multi-dimensional modeling. We'll see in depth what it is actually later, but approximately. అంటే ఎట్లా అంటే మామూలు డేటాబేస్, if it is normal database, you will form an inner join to this, you will form an inner join to this. Fix. Once the joining is fixed, whenever I do reporting, it always establishes both the joins and gives me result. That is not what I want. If I am using data only from this table, it should establish join only between customer and this. When I am doing reporting on this, it has to establish join only between product and this. And based on the what angle I am analyzing from, only those tables have to be joined. Then only get the correct results. ఇప్పుడు నేను కస్టమర్ అడిగినా కూడా 3 జాయిన్ చేసాను అనుకున్నా, then this record will fail in the join because it doesn't have P3 here. Yes or no, boss? అది కాన్సెప్ట్. Getting what I'm saying? అంటే it's about storing data in one place or one form and analyzing the same data from multiple angles. That is what multi-dimensional modeling, like where in the back end you will just see it as normal tables only, but in the front end you would see it as if it's a multi-dimensional model like cube. అందుకని లోపల క్యూబ్ లాగా ఉండదు, లోపల టేబుల్స్, but those are structured in such a way it results as a cube for you. Okay, boss? So this is how you will have